Hey guys, welcome back to Hillbilly Talk after a brief hiatus. Good to be back with you again. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I had a pretty rough one. My dad's been facing some serious health challenges and really been well, again, the best word is a challenge, but we're praying and hoping and trusting that things are starting to get on the mend in that area. But anyway, and for folks who know about that, thank you for your prayers and reaching out to us. We really appreciate it. I'm going to talk to you today about a couple of things. The first one is, I know a lot of you guys have been around with us from the very beginning, years and years. We had the old Appalachian project channel, and it got compromised, little password issues, so we had to start up the Real Appalachia channel. Well, now YouTube is starting to monkey around with our videos on there a little bit, so I was like, I hate this. But we're going to start moving some of those videos over here just to protect ourselves, because they've kind of froze us out from being able to download some of our own videos, and which is bizarre. I don't know what's happened, and they're not very responsive, so take matters in my own hands and move them over here, and probably start putting them on Rumble too, just to cover ourselves. But you know, feel free to watch them again. Maybe they're new to you, and I'm going to try to edit some of them too to make them a little bit more spruced up, you know, because when we very first started, it was just abysmal, and just some old bozo with a camcorder running around out here. So hopefully I can fix some of the audio issues, or maybe some of the editing or whatever, make it a little bit more viewer friendly. But in any case, watch them, don't watch them, I totally understand, but I'm just trying to want you to know what's going on rather than just see a bunch of uploads and wonder what the heck we're trying to do. Speaking along those lines, is we just wrote a book. For sure some of you have seen, and thank you for the folks who've ordered. We wrote a book called Snow in the Holler, Patchwork of Appalachian Christmas Stories. Now, folks that go back all the way, and we're talking about all the way, I started Appalachian Project February of 2014. And one of the things we were doing was interviewing folks, because we knew those generations were quickly disappearing that actually lived a life of, you know, first people to get televisions and even vehicles in some cases, and you know, they lived in the coal camps, and they had all these wonderful, fresh, warm memories of the real Appalachian lifestyle. So we knew they were disappearing every day. So we ran around. I came out with like a chicken with his head cut off and tried to interview as many people as I could. Wasn't the most effective strategy, because some of our videos were terrible. Some of our, you know, sometimes videos didn't even work. We just had to jot down what we talked about. So I've got notebooks full of that kind of stuff. So Melody's been a real blessing to me in this one, because she's helped transcribe some of this stuff, and we decided, you know, one of the things I always have asked, and since Melody's joined me, she enjoys this too and asks the same questions, was what was Christmas like for you when you was growing up? And I'm interested in that. I enjoy Christmas. It's my favorite time of year, and I just love hearing people tell their stories, and it seems like almost everybody lights up when they remember back to their childhood Christmases. So, you know, I thought that was a good thing to do, fell into the pattern of that, and we thought, you know what? And we should share these stories with folks. I think a lot of people would enjoy hearing that and hearing some of the commonalities, some of the differences. And I think one of the things that surprised me the most was learning how much commonalities there were. You know, a lot of people celebrated Christmas the exact same way. You know, they had the string popcorn, the making cookies, and the whole 9 yards. And some of the stuff that really surprised me, you know, like the first time I heard somebody talk about getting an orange for Christmas and how special it was, that was a revelation to me. But then I heard it 3 or 4 times from other people, how important getting that little citrus fruit was at Christmas, that they just treasure it because it was a very rare, special treat for them, and it stuck in their mind much more than, you know, some of the other gifts they'd gotten since. And it just really stuck with me that, you know, little small things like that made a big difference. And it was just strange that you could talk to somebody in, you know, Logan, West Virginia, or Waynesville, North Carolina, or Elizabethton, Tennessee, or wherever you go to, Pikeville, Kentucky, and you know, you got so many things that were this similar. It's very surprising to me, but it was very nice to hear everybody had their own little spin on it. So we went by and picked out some of the best stories, and I was such a dummy back then. I didn't properly get permissions and disclosures and acknowledgments and whatever signed, so we didn't feel right just putting it out there with the people's names, because unfortunately the vast majority of these folks have passed away. You know, you're talking about over a 10-year period when we were really targeting people in 80-year-old bracket and up, and you can imagine how the attrition rate's pretty high in that. So we didn't feel right using people's names and stories without their permission and knowledge. So it's like, well, what we're going to do is kind of rewrite them in a first person way to try to still communicate the story in the best possible way so that you get the gist of it and without exposing somebody, embarrassing them, that type of thing. So we kind of keep all the particulars as private as much as we possibly could and still make it an entertaining and enjoyable read. So hopefully we did a good job with that. You'll be the judge, I guess, if you buy it, but I'll put the link in this video below, and that way you can check it out. It's only $12.99 because, you know, we only got about, I think the printed copy is about 71 pages. So it's not a big book, not a long, hard read. It's a very quick, but I think it's pretty emotional, and it's got a lot of good quality stories. We didn't put a lot of fluff in there, so hopefully you'll get a kick out of that and enjoy them. Melody and I are going to be signing these books this weekend, try to catch up on all that and get all of the ones that people bought through PayPal. We'll try to get them out in the mail by early next week, so that just to make sure that people get them in time for Christmas. That's the biggest push for us. So, and if you purchase them this weekend, just know that we will be signing and getting them out in the mail ASAP. And we do appreciate everybody that's bought them. It's blown us away, honestly. I didn't expect any kind of response like that. But and on the side, I'll let you know too that this is part of a bigger project. I've been writing a much longer book. Well, I wouldn't say much longer, probably twice as long. A book about you know, just the rest of these stories that we captured, and from, you know, not necessarily Christmas time. This was just, you know, just how they live their lives and things that are different and things I didn't know myself that I think a lot of people will see as a revelation, and just capture memories for older folks, but also, you know, some young folks can realize how, you know, the generations before them lived, and maybe get an appreciation and respect for that, because it was eye-opening to me just to, you know, certain things that, you know, just little small things, like randomly things pop in my head. Like, I remember a girl talking about how her shoes didn't fit very well and how they tie little strings around them to keep her shoes on her feet, and that's just how so many people lived then, and it was just common. They didn't think anything about it. That's just how they got by. And then you see that, and you see pictures, and it's like, oh man, these folks couldn't even, you know, have the opportunity to get shoes that fit them just right, or any of that kind of stuff. We just take so for granted now. You don't even think about it. I don't even go to the shoe store anymore. I go to Zappos or somebody and have them sent to me. That's how spoiled we've gotten. And I'm as bad and guilty as anybody else. But, you know, it gives you an appreciation for how folks had to live and what they experienced. And that's just small. To them, that's just nothing. That was just life. It wasn't like it was a sacrifice or hard times or anything else. It's just, oh, that's just what we did. And, you know, we did it. We were happy and we were fine. And, you know, it seems like, maybe I'm wrong, I didn't live back then, but it does seem like in some cases the mental health was much better back then. People were just more resilient. They were tougher. They could take bad news. They could take hard times. They could take bad weather. They could take things a lot better than people can these days. But, you know, I don't want to speak on their behalf because, you know, I haven't lived it, but, you know, I feel like that's kind of, even for my own life, you know, I was happy as a clam when I was a little kid, and I didn't have a lot of things kids have these days and my own children have. So, I don't know, just a interesting thing, and I hope when that book comes out, which will give you hopefully plenty more notice. We rushed and rushed and rushed to get this one out. We were writing like the wind to try to get it in time for this Christmas, because you don't want to sit on it for another year. And that's one of the reasons we decided to self-publish it too, is just have more control. Also, you know, every time we've done a couple other books, and, you know, it gets pretty heavily edited, or they cut stories that are kind of emotional for us. So this way we got everything in there we wanted to get. So except pictures. We wanted to add pictures, but maybe the next version of it will have that. But anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about that book writing process. It's so difficult to, you know, to go back in there and try to capture somebody's voice, especially, you know, when I talk to some of these people, it was great because a lot of these memories came back, you know, especially when you watch the videos or even the handwritten notes. I would remember how people would tell these stories and the emotion it brought, and it was just powerful experience. Because, you know, and one thing that I wanted more than anything is that if I could convey anything to you, is the importance of talking to older people and getting their stories and their life history. They've got a lot to tell, and they love to tell it. They get excited thinking somebody's interested in how they were raised and how they live their lives. And, you know, the least we can do is appreciate it, learn from it, and grow, and appreciate what we have today. So I guess that's my little spiel, but be sure to check out that book. It's Snow in the Holler, a patchwork of Appalachian Christmas stories. Unfortunately, like I said, we just put it out last minute, basically, so we got it on Amazon, and you can buy it from us directly, and we'll sign them for you. And that's pretty much the only options we got right now. Maybe something else will develop down the road, but for now, we thought it was best. We wanted to get that out this Christmas season because it meant a lot to us to do it, and just I don't know, just felt special, and we had time to get it knocked out and finished up. So we hope you enjoy it. So anyway, good to be back with you, and I hope to get a little bit more consistent. And see you next time.